Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to episode 37 of Adventures and Mousecapades.
Today, we're going to sit in silence while Alicia and I listen to podcasts and play Power Wash Simulator for hours on end. We're basically recreating the last several weeks of our lives. And here we go. Enjoy.
Yeah, no. Although we have been doing that.
Yes.
It is ridiculously satisfying.
Light to moderately addicting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very glad I finally beat the game today. Yes. I ran out of things to clean, and now I can move on with my life.
Yes. Today, we're actually going to talk about some essential items that we always make sure to bring with us when we go on trips, whether it's at the parks or on a cruise or just travel in general.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to talk about what we bring and what we make sure that we have with us in our carry-on bags on an airplane trip, what we make sure, and there's a lengthy list of stuff that we make sure that we have with us on a cruise, and then what we carry with us in the parks.
Yep. So I guess we should start off with the airplane.
Yeah.
What do we make sure we have on an airplane?
Yeah, we'll go in chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of the biggest thing for us is entertainment. What are we going to do while we sit on our butts for 5.5 or 6 hours to get from Seattle to Orlando?
Yes. I usually read the entire time, whether that's listening to an audiobook or reading something on my Kindle. If I have my audiobook, I'm usually playing a game on my phone at the same time. Multitasking, whatever.
Yeah. For me, it really depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I'd say the last several trips, it's been watching a movie or something on my iPad, or just listening to podcasts on my phone, occasionally Kindle. Yeah, just basically one of those three things: a book or something to read. For us, that would be on a Kindle, an iPad to stare at, and a phone to do things with, if not also listen to.
Yeah. And the kids have those as well. Both our kids have a Kindle and a little computer iPad thing that they can use. And we will, like for Sterling, sometimes we'll load up some movies on there ahead of time. So if he wants to, he can watch a movie. He's not as much a reader as the rest of the family is.
Yeah.
So he usually wants some other form of entertainment when we're on an airplane.
Yep. And then kind of the corollary to that is some headphones or some earbuds to make sure you can hear whatever media it is that you want to pay attention to. Also on an airplane, kind of important, at least for us, for our own sanity, to block out the engine and air noise of the wind rushing by your face at 600 miles an hour as you careen towards Mickey Mouse Land.
Comforting.
Yeah. It's really a personal preference on what you like. Sometimes people like something that goes over your head, over your ears, or on your ears, or in your ears. Whatever you like. Just make sure you have something to listen to and listen with. The key to remember is that, especially for us, we're going to be on potentially a 6-hour flight. There may be time in the terminals before and or after. And most of the times, if you're using AirPods or things that, wireless devices that are ubiquitous these days that just sit in your ears and don't have any cables or wires, those things usually only have a 5, maybe 6-hour battery life. So just keep that in mind. Maybe you're going to be okay for a little bit while those recharge, have multiple options with you. So for us, I'm not going to go into a tech podcast But if you want some recommendations, stuff that's worked really well for us, the AirPods Pro from Apple are fantastic. Great noise cancellation if you're in the iOS or Mac ecosystem. Highly recommend getting aftermarket foam earbuds or whatever you call it. Replace the silicone cups on the AirPod Pros with foam inserts instead. They're a lot more comfortable and they don't work their way out as much. Bose has a bunch of amazing options, especially for over the head, over the ear options from their Quiet Comfort line that has active noise cancellation. I just acquired a set of the Quiet Comfort earbuds. I love them a lot. I love the form factor of how those sit in my ears. I still have my old wired Bose QC20s, which are Quiet Comfort wired earbuds. Those are noise canceling. Love those, but they're discontinued. So, Alicia, you love the Beats by Dre, specifically the Power Beats, because they kind of sit around your ear.
Yes, I have very small ears, and my ear canals do not like any type of things that go into them. Like they just pop right out. So I need something that goes over the top of my ear, but can, I guess, kind of like push the speaker, whatever, not speaker, what is that?
Yeah.
Okay, that can actually push it into my ear. And because things do fall out of my ear quite a bit, I need to have some sort of wire connecting them so I don't lose them.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the time you will find me with my headphones around my neck. I listen to podcasts and audiobooks constantly when I am not working, when I'm not interacting with the family. I will be listening to something. And I like having the ability to just have one ear in if I need to and not have to worry about losing the other one. So yes, I love my Power Beats.
Yeah. Anyhow, so that's some options. Find something that works within your budget, within your form factor that you prefer, especially on an airplane. Noise canceling is really kind of table stakes. You really want to have noise canceling on an airplane, in
Yeah.
our humble opinions.
Yeah. It's nice to have. It's not a must have, but it definitely is nice to have if you are listening to something, if you're actively listening to something.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, if you're going to go that route with having entertainment, electronic entertainment and headphones, you should have charging cables and bricks with you as well, especially for the longer flights. You want to make sure you have something available to recharge, whether that be just the cables, if you have a power brick itself, whatever you need.
Right. Especially if you're using your phone and then you're going to need to, book an Uber when you get there or look up your car rental information. If you've just nuked your battery from watching something on a flight, that's not going to turn out so well when you actually need to use your phone for other things once you land. So keep that in mind. Most airplane seats have power at them these days. Seatguru.com, highly recommended to look up your airline and flight information and which day, and they will look at the airline schedule and tell you exactly what what specific airplane model is being used for that flight, and you can see whether your seat will have power or not. Again, SeatGuru, GURU.com. I use that a lot when I'm selecting where we're going to sit. The other thing to think of is with those power cables, for my personal preference, especially because you're going to have, say you're a Kindle or a phone, if you're going to hold it against you or just really hold it in your hand, I love having a right angle cable coming out of that device or going into that device, I guess, if you want to think of it the other way, rather than something coming straight out. It typically produces less strain on the cable. It's more comfortable if you want to rest it against your chest or your Buddha belly, like I tend to have. Personal preference, get a right angle. You also, if you're security conscious and or paranoid, which it's completely valid, you may not want to plug your device into a cable into a strange USB port that's been on an airplane that's in the public. You may prefer to have an AC power brick that is sitting in the wall, pulling electricity, and then putting it back out into a USB cable for you to use. And sometimes those USB ports, even though they are in the seat, they're crap and they're all broken and they don't hold your cable anymore. So keep multiple options. I will say Anker, Anker, they sell on Amazon and elsewhere. They have some great power adapters these days that are incredibly small. In fact, I just got a cube that's about an inch and maybe an inch and a half cube that goes into a wall socket, and that's enough to power my laptop. Like, it's pretty darn amazing what they can do these days for size. So keep those things in mind. You've got some entertainment or electronic gear, rather, make sure you can charge it.
And there are also retractable multi-head USB charging cables that have, so they'll have like a USB-C charger, a lightning charger, and a micro USB charger all in one. It'll only charge one item at a time, but having the option and not having to pull 3 different cables if you have to charge your phone, your Kindle, and whatever else, it's nice to have that.
Yep, those are super handy. We've got several of them stashed around in various places in the house, and we usually take those on our travel, just because, it cuts down on the number of cables that you need to carry.
Yep. Also recommend bringing some gum or some hard candy to help with the differentiation of air pressure when you're in the airplane.
Yep. Also, we wrote down sunglasses. You may not need them on the plane, and you may not need them in Seattle, but you're going to need them when you get to Orlando. That's for sure.
I need them no matter where I am.
Yeah, ditto. We both wear sunglasses in Seattle in the winter when it's raining, because we can see better.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
Next we put down on the list is make sure you have some cash, some small bills for tipping. A shuttle bus driver, a porter at the airport, a bellhop when you get to the a hotel or wherever you may be going. Have some stuff available. Have a bunch of dollar bills or some fives or something like that you can cover those expenses. Try not to ask those people to make change for you. Be thoughtful.
Mm-hmm. And of course, because you are going to be carrying electronic entertainment, have all that charged before you leave. Charge up your Kindles a couple of days ahead of time, your headphones, whatever. Make sure it's all charged.
All these things that you're going to bring. We're not as good about that. Well, I will say we're good about charging everything before we leave. It's unfortunately this mad scramble at 11 o'clock at night, and we're going to leave in 6 or 7 hours to go charge everything up. And then we got to remember to pack all that stuff back in our travel bags in the morning. So note to selves, we should get better about that.
Yeah, we know it needs to be charged. I'm hoping that by us saying this and putting it out there, we will remember that we need to do this.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Sure.
It'll help. On to the cruise.
Yes.
What's that? Stuff that we pack for our cruises.
Absolutely. So critical stuff right off the bat. Make sure you have a passport. Make sure you have your passport. Make sure that your passport, and this is well before you cruise, but make sure your passport doesn't expire within the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your passport has more than 2 pages still left that are open to be stamped. There are some countries that I've seen, some folks that I follow online, that they had a fiasco trying to get into some country because they didn't have enough open pages left in their passport document. It was totally valid in terms of date, but it was just almost out of pages, and they weren't going to let the person in the country.
That is ridiculous to me, but whatever.
I mean, governments do governmental things,
and
ours is not to reason why.
Yes.
So passports, cruise documents, these days, your COVID vaccine card. This is
other IDs.
Other IDs. The COVID vaccine card, when we're traveling, and we're going to be, actually, we will have traveled by the time this comes out.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those rare cases where I think we will pack our physical cards with us.
Yeah.
When we're here in town, it's, here's a photo. We have the official Washington State app. So we have a digital ID in our phones that show that we're vaccinated, but we're going to have these physical cards with us when we travel, especially internationally. The last thing I want to do is get stuck somewhere and be up a creek.
Yeah. And for all of these documents like this, you also want to make sure that you have a paper copy of everything as well as a digital copy, just to keep everything safe. So, like your driver's licenses, make sure you have a copy of those too, in case something happens.
That's a fantastic idea. I hadn't even thought of that.
Mhm.
The next thing on our packing list for a cruise is, again, back to power adapters. Now, cruises are interesting, and there's a couple things to remember. You are not allowed to bring power strips onto cruise ships. You're not allowed to bring extension cords onto cruise ships. You can look this up online. This isn't just Disney Cruise Line. There are a lot of restrictions from the Coast Guard and from other entities. It's all about safety. It's all about things potentially that may not have been designed to have 220 running through them. And all of a sudden you're trying to put that through. They're not certified for that. It becomes a fire issue, blah, 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 blah. Disney Cruise Line is when they x-ray your bags. If they find anything that is contraband, like a power strip, it will be removed from your bag and you will have to get it back after you disembark at the end of your cruise. Now, DCL has a bunch of power outlets throughout their rooms, which is fantastic. However, not all of them are US plugs. There's a bunch of US plugs, and for most of our listeners, that's great, like US North America standard plugs. However, Alicia and I both sleep with a CPAP machine, and on most of the Disney ships, including the new Disney Wish, on one side of the bed there will be maybe a or a couple US outlets, but the other side of the bed doesn't have anything, or if it does have something, it will have a European plug. And so for $12, you can go onto Amazon and get a 3-pack of plug adapters that have the 2 big old prongs in a circle that go into the wall. It is a type E/F power adapter, and then coming out of that, you get you get 2 US plugs. One has a grounding, the third grounding plug, and the other one is just a double bladed plug. So highly recommended if you need some power or you're not sure. It's $12 for a 3-pack. Go on Amazon, get you some European type EF power adapters, and then you will not need to worry about what outlets you have where in the room on your cruise ship.
If you do have anything, any medical equipment or anything that doesn't quite reach where it needs to go to, do go talk to guest services. They do have some pre-approved extension cords available for you to borrow. It is first come, first served. Once they run out, they run out. So if you think you may need one, go see them right after you get on the ship.
And if you're like us and you do sleep with a CPAP, if you need distilled water for your container, you can get that from guest services as well. If you're in concierge, you can give them a heads up before you get on, and they may be able to have some distilled water sitting in your room before you even get there.
You actually can call DCL ahead of time. You don't have to be in concierge and have that added to your reservation that you
Oh,
need
excellent.
distilled water.
Very, very cool.
Yep. If you are like us, you will have a crap ton of tech equipment with you, be it, like we said earlier, all the entertainment stuff, or if you have GoPros or something like that.
Yep.
Everything needs to be recharged.
Yes.
And one of the things you can bring are USB charging hubs.
Yes.
As long as there is no AC plug in it, you can
Exactly.
bring it. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've got a couple bricks that are like you plug it into the wall and then it's got like 6 or 8 USB outs coming out of that. Those are fine. Those are 100% approved. Those will not be taken from you. The only thing that will be removed out of your luggage, and you get a little note, but the only stuff that will get removed is an extension cord or a power strip.
Some things that you can take to help with storage are the heavy duty magnetic hooks to hang stuff from. The walls and some of the doors of your stateroom cabin are magnetic. So you can put magnetic hooks up there to hang, I don't know, bags or whatever. If you have a organizer, some people will do like shoe organizers. If you have them hanging on the hooks, you can do that. You cannot have anything that hangs over doors, but
Yep.
if it's hanging from the hooks, it's okay to do.
And that is a change if you've sailed with DCL in the past and have used an over the door hanging thing. Those are no longer allowed.
Mhm.
They cause too much damage or
Yep.
potential for damage to
Yep.
scratch the doors and stuff like that. The other thing I'll mention, and as we record this, we haven't been on the Wish yet, but we will have been on the Wish once this comes out. As we've noted in some of the reviews, that there's not a lot of drawer space in the staterooms on the Wish.
Yeah.
So you may want to consider bringing with you a hanging like cube shelf storage thing that you can put in one of the closets. Those usually collapse down really, really small, shouldn't take up a ton of room in your luggage, but it may give you, another 3 or 4 shelves or something like that in a closet that you can put some underwear on if you don't want that just to be piled up on an open shelf above the desk. I don't understand why Disney did this design. I don't get it. Anyhow, I digress.
We'll talk a little more about what our thoughts are
Yes.
on the storage options or the storage availability on the Wish after we are on there. It'll be interesting comparing the Wish stateroom to the Fantasy stateroom.
Yes. What we're effectively doing a near back to back. We'll have a day off in Port Canaveral between cruises. So we'll have a good comparison of
Yes.
Wish versus Fantasy.
Yeah. Some bathroom stuff that we bring on the Magic, Wonder, Dream, and Fantasy. There are no lights other than the very bright, glaringly obvious light
Yeah.
in the bathrooms and the staterooms.
Yes.
I believe the Wish has some subtle under cabinet lighting,
Yep.
which we will talk about later when we see it.
Yep.
But the other ones do not have anything like that. It's either on very bright or
Yeah.
not on. And the weird thing with those bathroom lights is you turn it on outside the bathroom
Yeah.
and, end up flooding the entire stateroom with light.
When I have a family of people who are very light sleepers and literally light sensitive when they're sleeping, because my beautiful bride literally sleeps with her eyes partly open. Yeah, that's freaky. I love you. Turning on a light and having a door full open is just a guaranteed way to wake up other folks in your stateroom. So
Especially because I sleep with one eye open and I clutch my pillow tight.
Well played. So yeah, I'm super excited that the Wish has fixed this significant design flaw. However, there's a way you can fix it for Disney on the other 4 ships, in that you can get, again, off of Amazon, they're pretty cheap. You can get a motion activated nightlight that's magnetic. And so you can put it in the bathroom so you can see what you're doing enough, in the middle of the night, and it doesn't have like the power of the sun shining down upon thee at 2 a.m. So that is another pro thing to throw in your bag.
Yeah. We also use something called Poo-Pourri. It is a type of toilet spray that you spritz onto the water. It's before you go toilet spray is what it is. And it just helps with any odor issues that
Yes.
may occur.
It's quite effective.
It is.
It's
And
good
there's all
stuff.
different types of scents and everything.
Yes. The other thing for folks who may or may not be sensitive, oftentimes when we're staying in hotels and the parks and things like that, we'll either bring with or go out and get some nicer toilet paper. You want to avoid bringing wipes. You don't want to, even if they say flushable,
Yeah, you
especially
don't
on a
want to.
ship,
Yeah.
they're not flushable
Nope.
wipes. The cool thing is there's basically some TP foam that you can get that will effectively turn a wad of toilet paper into a wipe-like implement.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that phrasing. Anyhow, also available on your favorite retailer of choice's website. Worth looking up.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll also bring a battery powered fan for the room. Note it has to be battery powered or USB powered. We have
Yep.
USB fan that we use.
Yep.
You cannot have a powered fan. It has to be
Yep.
battery or USB charge only.
This isn't as big of a deal these days as it used to be.
Yeah.
On the Magic and the Wonder, when they were initially launched, the air conditioning systems on those boats were lackluster.
Yes.
And that is not the case anymore. When they went into their massive overhauls and dry docks, and they got the DuckTales added on because they had a whole bunch of stuff added. The air conditioning systems since then are way better and are much more able to keep up with the heat of the tropics. Now, you still may like having a little bit more airflow in your room going on, so it's up to you. You can get some battery powered fans or a battery powered fan that will work well for your room that you can bring with.
Also, we always bring sunscreen.
Yeah.
I I burn really easily. Me of the red hair and fair skin.
Yeah.
My kiddos are both red hair and fair skin, but they do not burn as easily as I do.
They're welcome.
Yes, they got that from you.
That's from me.
Yes, the
Yeah.
ability to not burn as quickly and tan nicely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do not have that. So sunscreen, I always have sunscreen in my bag actually. So it is imperative for me to have sunscreen. I like to have a different kind for my face than I do for the rest of my body. And you can either bring with you or buy once you're in Orlando. You got to be careful, I guess, with the airplanes and with the bottles potentially exploding everywhere in the air.
Yeah. If you're going to pack them on an airplane, just make sure that stuff goes into a Ziploc bag
Yes,
in case
yeah.
there's an incident. And sunscreen on the ships is pricey. So
Yes.
if you can get it before you get on the ship, that is the
Yes.
best way
Yeah.
to go.
I don't know what the prices are like in the airport for stuff like that. It's if you're going to Disney ahead of time before the ships, it's still going to be very pricey at Disney. But if you can hit up a grocery store or something like that,
Or have grocery delivery and they
or
can
have
include
grocery
that.
delivery,
Yeah.
that's the way to go.
Absolutely. So our next kind of set of suggestions here for the cruise is around what you wear. In general, Disney has relaxed some of their attire guidance from what it
Mhm.
used to be.
Mhm.
Historically, they kind of requested that you bump up a notch for dinner, that it wasn't just flip-flops and shorts and a t-shirt.
They have since relaxed that though. Yeah.
Exactly. And I would say, like, a lot of people treat these the ships and being on a cruise as an occasion. I mean, personally, I think we tend to dress up just a tick for dinner. Still may have shorts on, but it's, we'll swap out the t-shirt for a collared shirt or
Mhm.
something like that. Just again, personal preference. I'm not going to shun you, but just make sort of an effort.
Mhm. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, technically, I guess any given day on a ship, there's 3 outfits. There's your regular walking around outfit, there's your swimwear outfit, and there's your dining outfit, which
Right.
is for us, it's a little bit nicer.
Yeah. It's your night on the town. You're going to
Mhm.
go see a show. You're going to go do a concert or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rotational dining rooms can get a little chilly. So if you have just a little wrap or something you can wear or a light jacket handy, you may be a little more warm-blooded and not have an issue with that, but maybe just pack something just in case.
Yeah. It is noticeable for me. I run warm all the time, especially when I'm in the tropics. And I find the dining rooms actually surprisingly comfortable.
Mhm.
So to me, that says a lot of other people are going to be cold.
Yeah.
So,
And
so
staterooms are just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So
yep.
even if you don't go to the dining room with something to cover your shoulders or arms, you can always just run back and get something if you need to.
Yep. The other thing on many cruises, there are formal or semi-formal nights,
Mhm.
depending on the cruise length. You may want to plan around those. Don't see as many tuxedos these days as we used to, but I
Mhm.
mean, it is an option should you want to pursue that. The other thing is there's pirate night. And so if your family wants to partake of pirate night, make sure you have some pirate garb that you can well, you don't have to, but if
Yeah.
you choose to, you can dress up a little bit for
Yeah.
pirate night.
You can go as much or as little as you want. If you don't want to dress up for semi-formal or formal night or pirate night, you don't have to. You can do
Yeah.
cruise casual the entire time.
Yeah.
We do like to do a little bit of that. We will dress up for semi-formal and formal. And for pirate night, for Nathan and I, it's been traditionally we find a t-shirt with the skull and crossbones on it or
Yes.
something like that,
Yeah.
And the kids will sometimes go a little bit more piratey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disney is constantly changing their rules on what you can and cannot bring onto the ships. Just make sure you check on their website ahead of time. Like if your child wants to bring a sword on or something like that, or like Thor's hammer or something, make sure you check and see if it is allowable or not. They've changed their rules back and forth a couple of times
Yeah.
on if those can be brought on the ships.
Yep. Kind of like Alicia was saying, there are multiple sets of attire that you may choose to be in on any given day. You also want to plan your footwear accordingly. Flip flops for just relaxing or heading to the pool or whatnot. Some walking shoes if you're going to be out, doing the 5K or various tours or whatever you're going to do on land at your ports of call. Something to dress up, match your dressy outfits for formal or semi-formal nights, or some pictures, or going to Remy or Palo or Enchante. Just kind of, pack half your closet and you'll be great.
Yeah.
Another thing that we love to bring with us are what we call badge holders. These are for your key to the world cards, and they're little plastic sleeves, hard plastic sleeves that make it super easy to get a card into or out of. Sometimes they're on the end of a retractable string. Basically, we use these at work all the time. This is what our corporate badges live in. You can put them on the end of a lanyard if you are in, team lanyard, and but they just make it's so much easier to get your cards in and out of those things, for our experience, than it is to trying to get anything in and out of those little plastic sleeves that are on the lanyards that you get from DCL. These things cost, the badge holders cost a couple bucks. For us, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. And if it is your very first Disney cruise, Disney will not provide a lanyard for you. Something else to keep in mind.
That was a long time ago. I don't remember that.
Yes, it was. The newer ships, so the Dream, the Fantasy, I think maybe the Wish as well, you need to use your Key to the World card in order to enable the light switches in your staterooms. Now, some people don't like to use those, so they will just bring along a gift card or something. Basically, anything that size, like a
Right.
credit card, will fit in those sockets to enable the light switches.
Right. I highly recommend you don't leave your corporate Amex sitting in the light switch thing. The point here is Disney doesn't want you to run the lights if nobody's in the room. So the thinking is, well, you put your key to the world card in there, and if you leave, you take your key with you. In our experience, if our cards aren't, in our pocket or in our badge holder, I'm so apt to just walk right out of the room and completely forget to pull that key out. And that's why we like having a something else to put in that slot. You can go to your grocery store, hit the end cap that has 1,010 different gift cards. Just take one. You don't have to put any money on it, and that can be the thing that you put into this slot to enable the lights in the room.
Yeah, chances are most people have a gift card laying around that they just haven't thrown out yet. You can use that.
Yep.
And the lights won't be enabled unless you push it down all the way. So you can keep it in the slot, just pop it up a little bit so it doesn't engage the thing.
Exactly. Another thing you may want to think about if you're going to take your phone with you to take pictures on Castaway or a snorkeling excursion or what have you, you may want to consider a waterproof pouch for your phone. Some phones are waterproof. Some phones may not be. Some phones may say they're waterproof, and I don't think any of us want to find out that you just dunked your $1,000 phone and there was a slight flaw, and you're on day 2 of a 7-night sailing, and now you don't have a phone for the rest of the week. You do you, but there are waterproof pouches for phones that allow you to still take pictures, and you can still use a touch screen through the plastic. So that may be something you want to consider bringing with you.
Mm-hmm. There are laundry rooms on the ship. If you like to do laundry or need to do laundry, we generally do longer cruises, or we have parks ahead of time of the cruises, and we have to do laundry.
You're going to run out of underwear.
Yes. In order to defer some cost involved, you can bring your own washer and dryer sheets ahead of time. There are vending machines for both laundry detergent and wash and dryer sheets in the laundry rooms, but you can also bring your own, and those work just as fine too.
Wait a minute, Alicia. You said washer sheet. What is that?
It's soap that looks like a dryer sheet. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it's called, but you can find just little sheets of soap.
Yep.
Specifically for
laundry detergent
for washing machines.
So if you don't want to bring like Tide Pods or something like that in a Ziploc bag because you're worried about they may break, which seems valid if you're, trying to pack everything in there or it gets thrown around on an airplane, the washer sheets are actually kind of a really cool solution to that problem.
Yeah. And you should also, if you do foresee doing laundry on the ship, some sort of collapsible laundry hamper or a laundry bag is good too. You can also use that just for dirty clothes as well.
Yep. We always make sure that we have some plastic bags of various sizes. Sometimes the Disney merch bags work great for that, or some Ziploc bags. Basically at the end of a trip or whenever you may have something dirty or wet that you want to isolate from everything else in your bag, and having a means to do that would be a really great idea, especially like your shower poof or something like that. If it's wet on that last day and you need to go pack it, throw it in a Ziploc bag that you've got ready just for that kind of scenario, and you're good to go.
Exactly. Now, when we're on the ship, we actually like to use our water bottles, like the reusable ones. With a straw or with something like that. When we're in the parks, we'll get to that in a bit. We just use like a Dasani bottle or something. But on the ships, we like to have something a little more substantial.
A little bigger.
So water bottles are good to bring. They're great for soda because you don't get the biggest cups up at the soda stations.
Yep. Sometimes, we'll bring them with us. Sometimes we'll forget and we'll buy new ones in a merch shop. Oftentimes, if you're doing a fish extender group, sometimes you'll get a water bottle as part of that. We have several from different fish extenders that we use. In fact, the water bottle that I use as my primary go-to is a nice Contigo water bottle that somebody put a DCL logo on the side of. So, yeah. all sorts of options. But yeah, it's nice, especially take advantage of the free soda station, but you want to carry more around with you than like, half a can of soda. Have something larger that you have with you to bring around on the ship.
And they do have bottle filling stations on the ships as well. I think on the Wonder Magic, it's kind of over near the Cove Cafe. Not sure where it is on the Fantasy, and we don't know where it is yet on the Wish.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll find out. Yep.
Kind of the last packing tip that we have for the cruise is that you can walk on with a 6-pack of beer or a couple bottles of wine or champagne per person if you are so inclined. This is per embarkation onto the ship. So your first day, you can get something. And then if you hit a port of call and you need to restock, you can bring a 6-pack or 2 bottles per person back on as well. So something you may want to plan on.
Yep. There is a $25 corking fee in the restaurants if you need them to open your bottle for you.
Well, or if you open your own bottle, but it's in a restaurant, they're going to charge you the $25 anyway. That is a standard operating procedure across kind of any restaurant. If you're bringing in a bottle of alcohol, you're depriving them of the revenue, and they're going to collect a little for the privilege.
So just show up with your glass already with wine in it, right?
Indeed. In fact, you can do that. You can, if you have bottles of wine in your room, bring a glass of wine with you from your room. If you're in concierge, go hit happy hour before and after your dinner seating, and you can grab a glass or two to bring with you to the meal, and that way you can avoid potentially buying the wine package.
Exactly.
So lots of ways to play that game.
I think that's all our major points for packing for a cruise.
Yeah, there's a lot there, but yeah, the cruise is different from kind of anything else. If you're in the parks or you're on land, you have an opportunity to go do something or grab something or have an order delivered or whatnot. You got to think a little bit more ahead when you're on a cruise ship. Yeah. So hopefully some of this stuff helps.
And of course, we didn't say any of the obvious stuff, like you need underwear and socks and pants and t-shirts, and regular toiletries.
Yeah.
We kind of figure y'all know that stuff. It's just some of the other things you may not think of.
Yes. Don't be me. Our first Panama Canal cruise, we got to our room and went to unpack our suitcases, and I realized that I had brought my nice collared shirts, and I had all my shorts and nice pants and dress up stuff and underwear and socks and everything else. And I forgot the pile of t-shirts that I had selected to bring with us on the cruise.
Yep.
And that was a 14-night excursion. And yes. Oops.
Yep.
Don't do that. Don't do that ever again.
Yeah. So for the parks, first and foremost thing for us is you want to have a bag to put items in. This doesn't have to be a big bag. It's actually preferable not to be a huge bag, but you do want something lightweight.
Indeed. So a lounge fly, we have several here in the house. We have more bags than we do people, but that's fine. I have a ultralight, kind of like a day backpack from REI, like a day hike backpack that only weighs it's measured in a few ounces, that I can stash stuff in, that I use. I don't want anything huge. I want it to be super lightweight, but you do want to have something to carry a few things around with you in the park. Those few things, first and foremost, is a power bank, a battery charger for your phone, and of course a cable or two to charge your devices. The I don't know what it is about Disney. You're using your phone a little bit more than you usually do, which is fine. But even if you're not using it a ton, there's some black hole Bermuda Triangle effect of the Disney parks. Your battery will go down fast in the parks. I think it has something to do with how many people are there and how many cell towers there are, blah, blah, blah. But your battery is going to be put a hurting on in the park. So make sure you have a battery with you that you can plug your phone into to top up later on in the day.
Our general rule of thumb is 1 power bank charger per phone that you have with you.
Yep.
We also don't just have one person with a bag. We have multiple people with a bag to help lighten the load between everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So everybody has their own charger they're responsible for. Everybody has their own cable they're responsible for. Even if the charger that I carry or that Alicia carries can probably charge multiple phones and have multiple charging cycles per, be sure that each person can have their own phone with them. It's especially in the days of Genie and Genie Plus and all the rest of that stuff, data pads and Galaxy's Edge. Everybody's going to want to have their phone with them. And if your kid's phone is in your bag because it's dead and charging, that's no fun. So,
well, and also the sun is very bright. So you always have the brightness up all the way on the phone. And that will kill the battery faster.
That's a great point too.
Yep. Of course, you're going to need phone charging cables that go along with the power banks as well. And right angle charger cords are the best.
Yes. You can either go right or left.
I'm
not going to discriminate.
90-degree angled cords
there you go.
Are the best.
There you go.
And like we said, park bag for multiple people to share the load. A lightweight backpack is good.
Yep.
Keep it small and light.
Yep. Sunglasses, sunscreen, a hat. It's interesting. We last year when we were in the parks in Orlando, we broke down after I think day 2 and ordered on Amazon for a locker delivery some neck fans.
It was so hot.
It was oppressive.
It was horrible. Yeah.
It was oppressive. And so you may want to have those with you. I heard somewhere in the last week, somebody compared like the cooling towels versus a neck fan, and they actually got more mileage out of a cooling towel, and they didn't have to worry about recharging the batteries and things like that. You just put some more water on it. So something you may want to think of. We have cooling towels. I've never actually gotten one wet and used it like that. So need to try it out.
I think we should try those. The reason I've been hesitant to use those in the past is because it gets you wet.
You hate being
damp,
wet.
And I don't like that.
Yes. Yeah, I could see that being a usage issue for you.
Even though you get super sweaty when you're out in the heat like that. It's a different thing. We'll see. The neck fans were nice. I did enjoy those. It was helpful just to have a breeze on your skin.
It's one more thing you need to make sure that you are charging every night though.
And they're a little bulky too.
They are a little bulky, and I lost one. I forget what ride it was. It was
Buzz Lightyear.
Was it Buzz Lightyear?
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of a ramp, and there's the car jerked a little bit, and the thing slid right off my neck and fell, and it's gone.
Zerg took it.
Yeah, so it got snagged. They have their pluses and they have their minuses. The other thing kind of on charging, and I know this isn't in the parks, but just like on the cruises, like if you're just going to the parks, make sure you have a lot of charging capability in your room at night. You're going to want to charge your phones. You're going to want to recharge your extra batteries. You're going to want to recharge your neck fans if you use those. You're going to, these days, if you're going to get a Magic Band Plus, you need to recharge that too.
Yeah.
Like that's 4 things per person that you have to charge every night at this point.
Yeah, if everybody uses those.
Right. And and I've got an Apple Watch on top of that. So for me, there's 5 things I have to charge every night. It's a lot. It is a lot.
To charge.
Now, I will note we'll talk about Magic Band Plus because we have them coming. We'll use them in the parks. The nice thing about those is they will still work like a traditional Magic Band if the battery is dead. So you can still use it to scan into a ride. It still has your park ticket on it. It will still get you into your on-property Disney hotel room. Like all of those things that a traditional Magic Band works for, because it's just NFC, it's just a little passive radio tag in there. All of those things still work, which is really key if you happen to forget to recharge the thing at night. You'll lose all the fancy lights and maybe some of the new interactive features, but the classic Magic Band features will work if you do not recharge your Magic Band Plus.
Yep. Some of the other things that we include in our bag is water bottles. We just reuse Dasani bottles or just usually the one-use plastic bottles for that. You can get refills of water. You can just get cup water at any quick service location.
Yep.
Just let them know that you would like some water and they will give you water.
Yep. Absolutely. We also make sure that we all have a rain jacket with us in our bags. We have some super lightweight, waterproof yet breathable, collapsible, like they all stuff back into like one of their pockets, rain jacket, or maybe a mini umbrella, especially if you're traveling during storm season in Florida, which is like almost every month of the year. It will come in handy. Or if you have to go do a water ride and you don't really want to get all that wet, you can use your rain jacket on the ride.
And some people will keep a pair like of flip-flops or change of shoes, water shoes or something in their bags as well. We haven't done that, but it's always an option. We also will have masks in our bag as well.
That's a good point. Yeah.
A couple just in case, especially if you're in that super humid weather and you're wearing a face mask. It gets sweaty and
it gets
yucky,
pretty nasty,
and you just want to swap them out every once in a while.
Yep, 100%. And so, I think that's our list for the parks. Like, you don't want to carry too much stuff, but you're gonna, you're gonna need a few things with you. Make sure you distribute the load. Don't have mom or dad be the one person to carry everything for the whole party. Be fair. Even the little kids can carry a little lightweight backpack. It won't kill them. Don't let the bag get too big. If it's a huge backpack, that becomes an issue when you're getting on a ride and you need to stick it under the seat in front of you or something like that. So keep that in mind as well.
I think the last thing we need to talk about is for the flight home.
Yes, this is critical for the flight home, to make sure you have your cell phone. And why is that, Alicia? Why do we say we need to have our cell phones with us?
So you can snap a sad selfie before you go back to reality.
It is the most critical social media post that you'll make of your whole trip. It's you sitting in the airplane seats, sad selfie. It's
looking
time
sad.
to go home.
Yeah.
Wah. So what did we miss? What are those things that we didn't list off that you think we should have shared with you? Give us a yell. Shoot us an email, podcast@adventuresandmousecapades.com. Hit us on social media at Our Mousecapades. Let us know what we should included in this list, and let others who are in our little community know as well.
We are not affiliated with Disney, and we are not travel agents. We can offer our opinions and suggestions, and we do recommend that you work with a travel agent to plan your perfect vacation.
Give us a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. That really helps people find us. Hopefully this has been some helpful tips, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.
So some pro tips for
What?
That scared the hell out of me.
What?
The Amazon hockey puck went off
Oh.
in my room. Like I
Are
saw
hearing
you.
ghosts?
I saw you there, and then it sounded like you had opened the door and said, "I'm not sure." I'm like, well, how is she in two different places at the same time? Oh, okay.
Ghosts? What did you say?
I don't know.
You obviously said Lexi.
I guess. Holy cow. That's
Deep
okay. I
breath.
think my heart rate's coming back down. I don't know why that scared me so much, but it did.
Clear
Yikes.
skies, clear skies.
They're
They're here.
here.